How's it going, guys? Voice of Reason back for another edition of my video game reviews. And this week, guys, I'm going to be reviewing a game that most of you have probably already started to play throughout the summer. And if not, maybe this review will help you guys whether or not you guys should start playing it. And that game is Activision's very own Prototype. Well, let's begin this review by talking about the story of Prototype. And just like all my other reviews, I do try to be spoil-free throughout the whole review, so if you haven't played it yet, don't worry about any spoilers being brought up. Anywho, the game is set in New York City as a virus infects people and the military attempts to put an end to it. The protagonist, the person you do play in the game, is called Alex Mercer, who has an enemy-absorbing and shape-shifting powers that he got somehow, but we don't know exactly at the first start of the game. Besides taking shaping powers, he can also take memories, experiences, biomass, and physical forms of enemies through absorption, which is also known as consume within the game. Alex can also shapeshift into more specialized forms of attacks that are for offense as well as for defense. All of these put together are intended to give players multiple ways to complete their objectives. Parallel to the game's storyline is the ability to play the game as a sandbox-style video game, giving the player free roam of the city, Manhattan. So basically, you are pretty much caught up in this war between the military as well as the infected people, and both parties are going after you because of your powers to shapeshift as well as consume. You're like a supreme being that both parties want, and you are trying yourself to find out throughout all this war how exactly this came to be, since your memory is kind of lost, hence why you need to consume other people in order to regain the memory and understand the events of what took place before the game started. So, as a story perspective, the story is satisfying. It does get the job done. It's nothing mind-blowing. There's not that many twists, and if there are any twists, you pretty much saw it a mile coming. So, you're not going to be all really into the story mode as much, but it's a nice little cushion to, if anything else fails, you do have a pretty good storyline. Now let's mosey on over to the gameplay of Prototype. I think this is going to be one of the components that actually makes Prototype one of the unique games out this summer. I'm not quite sure if you guys knew. I know I didn't. Well, first, I didn't know Prototype was going to be this bloody. But second of all, I didn't know Prototype was also going to incorporate the stealth component of a game. I thought it was just going to be pretty much a big sandbox, and you're just going to kill everything that moves, and you're just going to find out what the hell happened to you as well as New York City, and that's it. But Prototype does so much more than that, and I think it's just a great way to experience the game, not only in one way but also in another way, and ultimately it's your choice. Like when I was playing Prototype, I got the feeling, just a little hint, that there was some Metal Gear Solid influence in the game. The way you go around in stealth so that you can enter new areas. And see, like right here, I'm in a base, and I couldn't get in there if I had a higher ranking official. So I just consumed this guy, and now I am this guy, which is how I got in the base. And in the base, you can now roam around and actually look for people who do have some information, which is I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to consume him as well as take his experiences and memories, and now I have them. So I think it's a pretty cool idea, using the stealth and action and putting them together to make pretty much a little a microcosm of what Metal Gear Solid pretty much is. And what's cool here is that you can learn new abilities by consuming military personnel. Say you want to know how to fire a rocket launcher more efficiently, just go around and find a person who has the skills to actually fire a rocket launcher, consume him, and then you can take his experiences and all his skills, and now you're an experienced fire rocket launcher. Or take a helicopter if you would like to drive or fly a helicopter. Just the same thing, go around the military base, find someone who is skilled in helicopter flying or whatever flying, consume him, and then now you can fly a helicopter without no problem. But besides that, Alex's primary superpower is his ability to shapeshift, transforming parts of his body into a section of martial implements acquired over the course of the game, either as purchase upgrades or being given to them. Offensive powers include the large and powerful blade, one of my favorites, razor sharp claws, muscle mass that augments brute physical strength. There are also some defensive superhuman powers options that consist of a large shield and a full body armor, which he looks pretty sweet in. There's also some vision modes that include thermal, which allows Alex to see enemies through smoke and other obstacles, as well as an infected vision mode, which cuts out sound and highlights the infected people, though leeches away Alex's health if he's using it for too long. Like I said before, this all takes place in New York City and Manhattan, so you're going to have a pretty huge scale territory to free roam, and of course there's going to be tons of side missions. Side missions include either jumping from rooftop to rooftop, fighting other helicopter enemies, destroying as many people as you can. And so you're going to have lots and lots to do. Another thing that I really wanted to talk about was the upgrade system that Prototype comes with. This is probably going to be one of the reasons why you keep going back to Prototype, is to upgrade more and more again. There's like tons and tons of upgrade, and not only does it cover the upgrades of your ship-shaping form, but also the upgrades of when you consume a military personnel and take their experience. It also keeps track of that and upgrades your accuracy or efficiency of that weapon. I think it's a really nice addition, and it does very well, and it's very, very in-depth, and I was really surprised on how in-depth the upgrade system actually is. Now let's talk about some graphics of Prototype. Now, knowing this game is a sandbox game, which is a huge world, obviously New York City is a fairly big city, you're going to go into it expecting it not to have that much detail and not that much quality in terms of visuals. Fortunately, Prototype does just that. It does offer some very good resolutions as well as visuals throughout the game. Obviously, the higher end characters, such as the main character and the sub-characters of the storyline, are going to have the better modeling, but say the people running the streets, they're not going to have so much detail. But where it counts, it does get the job done. And like I said, nothing mind-blowing, but it is sweet to look at. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the animations of Prototype. I thought the animations were very well done. It was very smooth, especially when he runs down the street and he like jumps over cars, jumps over fences, pushes people out of the way. Now, however, the frame rate did get a little jumpy at some times when everything was going on in the screen, which isn't too big of a distraction, but still, it does loosen the experience of the game altogether. Now, before I start concluding this review, I did want to touch upon some of the things I did not like about Prototype. The first being the controls. I felt the controls were a little bit wonky, and like say I was scaling the side of a building and I wanted to jump to the left, I would sometimes end up jumping to the right. I'm not quite sure why, but I just found it very frustrating, especially when I was trying to evade a strike team at a very tough time during the game. And secondly, I wanted to talk about the missions as well as the side missions. I just felt that the missions and side missions were a little bit shallow. Side missions, when you look at it, were kind of like a gimmick. The missions in the story felt like I was just doing what people told me to do and not really getting into anything that I really wanted to do, which was to know exactly what the hell happened to New York City. And it was more of like a chore doing these missions, both in the story as well as the side mission. And I'm not really complaining, I'm just complaining about the quality of the missions that you do embark on. With a satisfying storyline as well as a very diverse gameplay mechanics, Prototype does deliver on the various levels of fun, entertainment, as well as action. So if you guys have nothing else to do, you guys want to play a cool sandbox game, then Prototype might be the game for you. Till next time, guys, take care. How's it going, fellow gamers and friends? Voice of Reason here again. Say, if you guys liked the video you just saw, be sure to check out my other videos that I have located on my YouTube channel. And while you're at it, if you haven't done so already that is, be sure to subscribe. And if you're feeling more adventurous enough, you can also find me on my MySpace page. Send me a friend request and join the gaming chat. Oh, and one more thing. I'm also happy to announce that I finally have my own Twitter account. So if you guys want to know the latest reviews, previews, or even some special projects that I'm working on, be sure to follow me. Till next time, guys, take care.